Welcome to Goodbye Apathy, a podcast about what excites us in life, those passions that get us out of bed in the morning, and where we find joy. This is a special episode for me because I sit down with my friend Colin Umbarger, the only other person I know who loves concerts as much as I do. That's right, today we're talking all things live music. Do you remember the first concert you ever went to?
Yes, I actually do. I want to say it was maybe my freshman year of high school. I went with my brother to FFH. So I don't know if you know who they are.
No.
They are a small-time Christian band. I think it was freshman year of high school, somewhere around there. I saw them. It was at a church, but my brother and I went. It was a great time. Definitely, a little bit different a concert atmosphere that I would later go to. But and then by senior of high school, I went to Common Ground Festival in Lansing. I did that. Which, I saw Shine down there before they made it big.
Yep.
It was 2007, and it had Trapped, I think, but Shinedown was. I'm really happy I saw them. But then all of a sudden I hear on the radio, I'm like, what? And I also saw that summer I also went to what was the big punk festival that just ended? What's that festival? Can't believe I'm blanking on this right now.
Not Lala, right?
What? Which one?
Not Lollapalooza.
No. It was Warped Tour.
There you go. Yep.
Warped Tour 2007. So that was a lot of fun. It was 90 degrees. I saw in downtown Detroit. That was my first actual festival experience too. So
okay.
It was lots of good music. Saw people from Newfound Glory there to some older bands I didn't really know, to some screamer bands I didn't know, and then you'd see obviously lots of weird, interesting people. I also saw a whole family clan from everyone from an 8-year-old up to a 90-year-old, which I had to question why they're all there, but no, it was a good time.
That's awesome. Yours are significantly cooler than mine are because I'm trying to remember.
I just always try to be cool.
Well, I went to a lot with my family when we were younger because at our high school they did a 4th of July concert every year. So I saw Boys to Men and Village People and Rick Springfield. So I saw all of those, which now I'm glad I saw all of those people because that's pretty cool to put on the checklist. When I was high school, I went to a ton of country concerts, the really big ones. So I went to Kenny Chesney and Rascal Flatts and stuff like that, just because I have friends who wanted to go to those.
So when I say my first concert, I went to these almost classical concert type thing where it'd be in Grand Rapids they'd have it called Picnic with the Pops. They'd have orchestra band and then do have a other band come where they do a theme. I saw America, so a good old 60s 70s band.
Yep.
Play with the orchestra too. Which was a really cool experience, and saw some really good stuff. Mainly oldies and other kind and stuff like that. So, but I don't really consider those concerts because we just you brought yourself and set up a picnic and listen throughout the night. But you're just hanging on your lawn chair with your family, which is technically a concert. But
no, I totally agree. Yeah, because even those ones before, we went to the state fair and saw Grand Funk Railroad because my dad really wanted to go, and not that they don't count. We went to a concert, but I don't really count them until it's I went out and bought tickets for it, or I was the one who asked to go. You know what I mean? Those feel my first ones. Although I'm pretty sure the first one I ever bought tickets for was Michael Bublé, and it went with my grandma. So
the first one I probably bought tickets for were the Common Ground and then Warped Tour, and then freshman year of college I went to go see Sum 41. That was my first actual single show.
Okay. Yep.
Which was I really loved. I'd been listening to them since I was 6th grade. So lots of years in the making, waiting for that to happen. Growing up, love their album All Killer No Filler. But there's like this drunk couple who always try to get into the mosh pit, and then they get upset or pissed off when someone would push them around, and so
Yeah.
then they'd be like kicked out of it, but then they'd walk right back in and get surprised when something happened. I'm like, so, but
Yeah. This is what you brought on.
exactly. But no, it was a great concert. I loved it. I mean, like threw back all the memories, and I mean that's kind of what you want in a concert, just uh, all the memories you have of the music, wherever you've heard it. I mean, I can
Yeah.
actually pick out that's one of the few songs I actually pick out off of Killer No Filler. Fat Lip was my favorite song, and I can actually
Cool.
pick out when I first heard that song, which was on our way to play laser tag with some friends. It came on the radio. I had never heard it before in my life, but all my friends had. So I mean, I was just doing the watermelon, 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 pretend like I knew the words, and by the end I did. So,
That's awesome.
yep.
Okay, so I've gone to both of these with you. Would you say, in general, are you more of a small venue or large venue person? And I guess that
Definitely,
it depends
definitely
on what you
small
want to see.
hands down.
Okay.
Just because I mean, with small venue, you get a lot more intimate interactions with the artist. I mean,
Yep.
I've seen everything from dialogue between the artist and like someone in the crowd, like where everyone can actually hear what's going on,
Yep.
to I mean, like them just coming down off stage and like literally being able to like talk or shake hands with everyone.
Yeah.
I mean, like one of the best experiences I've had like with a actually super small venue. The band May, I saw them on Halloween night, so they went across to the thrift store, all got like Halloween costumes. Basically, like two of them were wearing like dresses, and same with like all the opening acts. But at a certain point, they're like, "What do you guys want to hear?" And they just started taking requests from the crowd and
That's
just kept
awesome.
doing it, which was awesome. But I mean, like with large venues, I mean, it's great because you get to see bands that are made it big, but
Yeah.
sometimes you lack the engagement.
Yep.
I mean, like the best example, I mean, I've seen 21 Pilots in a small venue or smallish venue, like of House of Blues, which was like 2,500, I think, to now seeing
Yep.
in like arenas. And I mean, they're still great performers, but their performance in House of Blues was hands down better, just because I mean they've had that more intimate interaction with the crowd.
Right.
And I
No,
mean,
that
like,
makes sense.
yeah, like they literally had a conversation with a guy who was like a little bit like 10 feet from me, and just like talked to him a little bit. And then they were making jokes with the crowd. But yeah, it was great.
Yeah, there's definitely trade-offs with
Mm-hmm.
both because obviously if a band's playing really small venues, they probably don't have much of a budget, right? So
Yeah.
production wise it goes down, but I'm with you, like small venues all the way. That's always
Yeah.
my preference. I think because I'm there for the music. I mean, I love the production of it. If they've got a cool set, I'm all about it. But at the end of the day, I just want them to play. And so small venues make it a lot more
Yeah.
intimate for that. It's cool though, like at least with 21 Pilots, you've seen them at small venues.
Yeah.
And then you also get to experience because they do some really cool stuff in arenas too.
Oh yeah. No, I mean like I mean like I don't put a heavy weight on production value. I mean like some of the stuff like I mean I really don't care much about, but I mean some of the
Yeah.
obviously it adds to the element. I mean like I saw Imagine Dragons one year in Cleveland, and I mean what they performed. I mean it wouldn't have been the same in a small venue, because like at one point they had like a hidden drum up on top of the stage, and they actually like chained the lead singer there and like hoisted him up, and he started playing the drum like 40 feet in
That's
the air.
awesome. That's
Which I mean,
super cool.
I mean, obviously you'll never see at a small venue, but I mean, there definitely are trade-offs. But I mean,
Yeah.
overall, yeah, because I
Yeah.
mean, good performers are going to be able to perform no matter where they are. So I mean, if you can make the most and like just use
Yeah.
your like level of energy, will carry you.
Yeah. I don't know how you feel about this, but like especially with large venues,
Mm-hmm.
I either spend the money to get a good seat or like on the floor, or I don't go. There's no point for me to sit in the nosebleeds. Like I'd rather just not go. If I'm gonna bother, I'd rather like hand pick a couple larger concerts and go all out on them as opposed to just getting like, the $30 nosebleeds just to be there.
See, like I mean, kind of depends on who I'm seeing. I mean, I'm fine with like the like lower level, not the nosebleeds, because then you can't even see what they're doing without looking at the screen. But I mean,
Right.
I don't necessarily always spend for the pitch based on like costs. I mean,
Sure.
that's all I
Yeah, yeah,
prefer small venue because I can pay like 20, $30 and go see the band I really enjoy.
yeah,
And then you also can always get a good spot. I mean, one of my favorite venues downtown. I mean, you can literally stand anywhere and have a good view and not have to worry about getting there super early, like hours beforehand,
yep,
like, because, we have jobs and we can't afford that.
right, right. No, I gotcha. No, that makes sense. Okay, so you talked a little bit about some of the music festivals you went to when you were younger,
Mhm.
but you still like more recently you've been to a couple music festivals, right?
Yeah, I mean, I always go to 97X's next big thing, which I mean,
Yep.
they have actually expanded that to 2 days. But I mean, it's not like a festival where you camp overnight, like you see with some of the like the big name festivals.
Yeah.
But I mean, still, I mean, I'm still there like from like noonish to like all night long, which are fun. I mean, I've gone to a few festivals at actually that venue. Back in the day, when they had Big Guava Festival, that's probably one of my favorite all time
Yep.
festivals. It was 3 days long. You had people like Chance the Rapper before he really made it big. The headliners were Foster the People, Vampire Weekend, and Outkast because the year
Yeah.
Outkast came back. But then you like the opening acts were like a bunch of bands that later on have made it big because it was 6 years ago now. So I
Okay.
mean, like I saw
Yep.
everyone from like Walk the Moon was an opening act, small opening act. 21 Pilots was a smaller act, and just like stuff. And I mean, like I saw Haim was an opening act, and yeah, I mean, so many amazing acts that were there, and just so many of them end up going and making it big from that. I saw
Yep.
like Girl Talk. I mean, was there. They were opening act.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, so many great performers. In this, I mean, everyone. I mean, Group Love was there. Now they're so much bigger, and
Yep. Actually, when I saw Imagine Dragons, Group Love opened for them.
mhm.
I've seen them twice, but one of the times I saw them. Yeah, I don't go to a ton of music festivals. I think I like the camping ones, they
Mhm.
have no interest to me. I don't want to stand with like 30,000 people and stand out in the sun and wait for these people to come on all day. That doesn't really have any interest for me. But I think too, like, I think a lot of the really big festivals, it's so diverse in the music that they bring that I'll have like 4 or 5 artists that I really want to see, but then the rest of them might have no interest because they don't have like a
Yeah,
vibe. At least when they were doing Guava Festival, I felt like there was some sort of vibe. Like if you
yeah. I
liked
mean, it's
the
mainly alternative, which I mean,
yeah,
although I mean, I definitely want to go to like a festival like Bonnaroo or Lollapalooza
yeah,
or like Firefly, just because I mean, normally with those, there's enough bands I want to see. So, I mean, it definitely has like a lot of like variation and like styles, but or actually the one I would love to do would be Hangout Fest because that's like right on the beach in Gulf Shores.
yep,
So I
yep.
mean, at least I'll be on the beach. I mean, obviously, I just need to worry about the heat and whatnot. Being from the north, still don't deal well with it down here.
Yeah. I had tickets for it's called Moon River Festival
Okay.
and
Okay.
it's in Chattanooga. So I've never been before, but do you know Drew Holcomb and the Neighbors? Have you ever heard
Yeah.
of them?
Yep.
So they actually host the festival, and I think this was like year 3 or 4, but every year consistently they just brought the best people. It's like because he's friends with all of my favorite artists, and then I did more research into it, and they have it like right on the side of the river there across. So the I guess the I've never been to Chattanooga, but I guess the city's on one side of the river.
Yep.
You go over one bridge and then there's this big park area. Like so you go over the bridge and then down by the riverside. And that's where they host the festival. So they said obviously they have like a ton of what are like market booths and stuff. So there's a ton of other stuff to do there. But then they said you walk like 20 feet away from the stage and you can rent a paddle boat and go on the river and
Oh
just ride
wow.
around. So like if there's a band you didn't like, you just hop on a paddle boat and then come back in. And then under the bridge, they let you rock climb. So they had like people set up to let you rock climb and stuff like that. So it seemed like it was like a definitely a different experience for a music festival, but it got canceled 3 days ago. So
Yeah. I mean, have you seen Rock the Boat, where they have it's like basically a festival on a cruise, which I mean,
yes.
obviously the lineup
Yep.
changes every year, which I mean, Andrew McMahon's done it I think a couple times, which he'd be one of the ones I'd love to see like on that. I mean, because usually they're most of the bands I mean I like or whatnot, which I mean would just be a great time when you're on a cruise and just go see a concert every night or
Yeah.
whatever. So I mean that would be actually a really fun experience, just whole totally unique. And I mean obviously you just have the population of what's on the cruise, so hopefully not too
Yeah.
crowded
Well,
or
and
over.
I've heard too, I think if you go on those, it's like fairly easy to kind of like hang out with the band a little bit
Yeah.
because they obviously have nowhere to go. You're on there for what if it 4 days, 7 days, or whatever it is.
Yep.
Um, so I think it's a lot more intimate. And they'll do like pop up shows where like you're eating dinner and one of the bands will just come out and play for half an hour,
Yeah.
even though it wasn't scheduled. Yeah, I would love to do it. Train has one every year. They call it Sail Across the Sun
Hmm.
tour, and they bring all of their friends on a cruise for a week. It sounds super cool.
Yeah, no, I mean I'd love to. I mean I just got convinced the wife to go along with that, but
Yeah. Well, I would totally go. I think that'd be fun. Is there any concert etiquette that you live by or that you expect from others? I know that's a weird question, but since you've gone to so many,
Yeah, I mean, like, I think one of the best actually, okay, I mean, I'm kind of just watching out for those around you. I mean, some obviously, like, if you're outside, you're dealing with heat. I mean, a lot of time people can get like overheated or, or whatnot. When I went to actually see Flogging Molly, around, St. Patrick's Day one year,
Mhm.
and this girl, I think her glasses fell off or something like that, but like, literally like everyone around her just formed a wall. I mean, they're kind of moshing a little bit, like a lot of movement, especially those kind of bands. But everyone just formed walls. That way she could easily get down and look for her glasses on the ground, pick them up without them getting stepped on, her worry about getting tripped over. It's kind of like just watching out for your neighbor essentially and not being too obnoxious.
That's awesome. So let me ask you, how do you feel? How do you feel about like the tall person at a concert? Like the guy who walks in who's like 6'7",
I mean, I feel bad for them because like obviously like
right?
everyone wants to be as close to the front as possible, but same time, if you're 6'7", you're going to be blocking someone's view. I mean, I like even like with some of the concerts I go to, I mean, I'm not that tall. I'm like 6 foot, but you're always gonna have someone behind you who's
Yeah,
shorter, and so it's a reasonable expectation to just kind of be considerate, I guess. So I mean, like just ask the person behind you, like, hey, can you see? And that's where as a concert goer, you always try to find that window between
right,
people's heads, and hopefully they
right
don't
between
get too much
heads.
movement during the concert. But I mean, if I was 6'7", I'd probably always stay like near the back ish.
Yeah, yeah.
That way,
I would be honest. I don't even mind if they get there early enough. Like if they want to be up front, they have every right to be up front. You know
oh
what I
yeah,
mean? Like because I feel for them too. Because I'm thinking like I want a good view just as much as everyone else, and so my thought is if they get there early enough and they get their spot, like that's theirs. And then if people need to like adjust behind them as they fill in, then they need to do that. But if you're 6'5", 6'7", and you show up like during the opener and then you weave through the crowd, I'm gonna
yeah,
get angry. Like, okay, you didn't show up early and you know how tall you are, and you're clearly blocking people who have been here for 45 minutes to an hour waiting, right? That's what bothers me. But
Well, I mean, like just in general, I mean, like people who are weaving in when, like, I mean, obviously they weren't there beforehand, like whether they say they
yeah,
have a friend up front or they actually do. And I mean, obviously there's always like situation like, oh, I had to go, you went to the merchandise table or you went to the bathroom or whatever, when you
yeah,
got a
yeah,
drink,
yeah.
way back up, that's fine. But the people who are
Yep,
just weaving their way up because they showed up late and just want a better seat, and then just, oh yeah, so and so's up there, I know them, and then just creating their own spot and basically forcing everyone else to adjust. Those are the
yeah.
people I don't like.
No, I agree. I have been over the years. I've developed a talent for boxing out. really
Oh yeah,
well.
I mean, yeah, I learned that in basketball growing up. If there's open space, you fill it, but I'm not gonna force my way through people if there obviously isn't room in front of them.
No, I totally agree.
The big thing with that, you just also you want a little bit of space between you and the person like next to you, in front of you, or whatever.
Yeah.
But you also need
Yep.
to create whenever it's not that big enough space where someone tries to fit in. So
Right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's probably another one of my pet peeves is like there's concerts. I've been to a lot of sold out concerts, especially like at House of Blues. I feel like those get really crazy if they're sold out.
yeah,
Uh, but I go into that knowing it, right? I mean, that's what I signed up for. So I don't have a huge issue with that. But like if somebody is consistently touching me and you can see there's space around them, that drives me crazy. It's fine. Like, inevitably people are dancing and moving around. People are going to bump you. That's just what's going to happen.
yeah.
But like when somebody's back is like on you the entire time and you can tell they can move around, that drives me crazy. But
See, I was at a concert where the person in front of me was a high schooler, and they were like really bobbing their head, but they were getting kind of wild and like almost were like hitting me with their head. So I'm like fully expecting to get a concussion.
yeah.
I literally had to like just keep my arm on their back from them
Yep.
coming too close because I literally got their hair in my like mouth like twice. And like
Yes.
with how quick they were moving and like the size of this person, I was like, I told my friend, I'm like, if I get a concussion, you're gonna need to pull me out of here because I won't be able to.
Yeah.
Luckily, I did, but yeah, it was getting way too close for comfort, and you just need to like settle down, just like keep like that little like foot like arm,
Yeah.
that's how you put your guard arm up. We're talking like growing up, but that's
But
literally what it is.
how do they not notice that? You know what I mean? Like
I don't
people are
know.
just
Do not
totally
feel my
unaware.
arm on your back the entire
I
night.
know. And that obviously doesn't bother them, you know? Yeah.
And the bad part is, it gets so distracting that you're not even watching the concert anymore.
I think that's what bothers me the most. For the most part, I can tune everyone else out at a concert and just pay attention. But well, me and my brother went to see Mumford and Sons.
Was I at that concert?
What's that?
Was it the one I went to with you?
No, this was in Ohio.
Okay.
I think it was last year for their Delta tour. And it was an awesome concert. They made it was in Nationwide Arena.
Mm-hmm.
So, but they made the entire floor standing room. And then they put the stage in the very middle. Mm-hmm. So we were able to get, like, I got floor seats. And we got there at a decent time. So we had a great view. We were super close to the stage. And the nice thing is, I forget what the exact regulations are, but if a venue makes the floor, if they make that standing room, they can only book so many seats. Like, I almost think it's the same amount if they actually put seats down. Does that make sense? Like, if you were to roll out because of like fire hazards and stuff like that, they can't fill the entire floor.
Like building code, you're only allowed so many people in there anyways, and
exactly.
You don't want to in order to avoid any kind of like issue of like something goes wrong and people need to escape. The biggest issue most things face is like if people get trampled.
Right. So the nice thing about that was like we had room to spread out and people took advantage of that. So we didn't have to clump up at the stage because nobody was pushing us in. So the majority of the concert, we had plenty of space. We could see really well. And then during the encore, which I think they did at least 3 or 4 songs as part of their encore. Mm-hmm. This girl pushed through the crowd and stood right in front of us. And she was gone. Like, she was completely out of it. And she was dancing like a maniac. Her arms and legs were just flailing everywhere. She was hitting everyone. And then she kept trying to get her friend to come up with her. Like, you'd see her turn around. She's like, come up, there's plenty of space. And I'd turn around like, nope, there's not. Like, just stay. And you could tell her friend was super embarrassed because she wouldn't move. And so this girl was driving everyone crazy. And she was smacking into everyone. It was terrible. And then they started playing The Wolf. Yeah. And you know that song, right? So it's a crazy song. Crazy. Mm-hmm. It's also happens to be one of my favorites, my all-time favorites of theirs. So I told my brother, I was like, watch this. I can get her to go away. And he's like, what are you going to do? I was like, don't worry about it. So as soon as they hit the first chorus and, the song erupts and it just goes nuts, I started dancing like a fool, like just making a
You
complete
always dance like a
idiot
fool,
out of
Kevin. Like
myself.
you're dancing
I
normally.
do. I do. But like, so imagine what a level above that would look like. Now, I would say I didn't hit anyone. I made sure I kept in my space, but I danced like a total weirdo. And she got really freaked out. she's like yelling at me. She's like, it's just a song. Calm down, man. And I did that for like 2 choruses in a row. And then finally she was like, this is stupid. I'm leaving. And she went to the back. And I immediately, as soon as she moved, I stopped dancing. And the people in front of me turned around and started slow clapping me. It was awesome. But it was just like, you went the whole concert. Why couldn't you stay where you were? It just it drove me crazy. And at first I was upset because I was like, this girl's going to ruin the end of this concert for me. And in an arena, normally the encores are the most, hyped up part, right? They're doing a bunch of stuff. So anyway, so I think I know the answer to this, but have you ever gone to a concert by yourself?
No, I have not actually.
Okay.
Usually, I'll find just a random friend like, hey, do you want to go? I have an extra ticket type of thing.
Yeah.
But I've never been to an actual concert by myself. I mean, like, I'll watch live music by myself, like like a bar or something like or that,
Yeah.
or if
Sure.
I'm waiting for someone, like, or meeting up with friends later. But I've never actually gone to a concert by myself because usually I'm able to just find one person
Yeah.
and just be like, hey, I bought a ticket. You want to just go? Type of thing.
Yeah. Because obviously it seems like your friend group, for the most part, there's a ton of people who like going to concerts. If you had to, could you? Like, would you go by yourself? If it was like, I can't miss this band, nobody else is free, I'm just going to go.
I would, especially like, like when I was like traveling for work, I'd always look at what concerts were going on, and if I saw a
Yep.
band I liked, I would. It's definitely isn't the same. Kind of going like I went to a sporting event by myself, which it was like weird because like there's no one to talk to during the game or about what's going
Right.
on.
Right.
Yeah, I can try to be friends with people around me, but that just sounds like work.
Yeah.
Um, I went to not that this is a concert, but I happened to be in Dallas because my wife was at a conference, and I had nothing to do all day long. So I actually went to the Big 12 championship game, which I'm like, hey, I like football. I got a good deal on a ticket. I'm like, I'll just go. I'm like, what else am I gonna do? And I
Right.
get there and I realize that I just bought my ticket on StubHub, and I realize that my ticket is in the student section of Baylor, which I don't have any care for either teams. I'm just there to watch football. And then
Yeah.
like I'm with a bunch of, like 18, 19-year-olds, and I'm like, hey, I'm just gonna sit here and eat my nachos, go team type of thing.
Right.
I happen to be wearing green, so it worked out decently.
Okay.
Luckily I
That's
wasn't
what I was
wearing.
going to ask. Yeah. So luckily you weren't wearing the other team.
Yeah, like I literally had no idea until I sat down. I'm like, oh, but it was fine. It was just it was a good game to watch. But
Yeah.
I definitely would. I wouldn't prefer because it's not as exciting because you don't have that conversation with like friends or that memory
Yep.
afterwards. Like, dude, that part was so awesome. Like, I know. Instead of you just
Yep.
walk up to a stranger, hey, that one part was awesome. Like, hey, I'm gonna call the cops. Type of things. Stranger danger, stranger danger. So,
Yep.
but
No,
like, I'm oh, sorry. I was gonna, when we were at a I think it was I think it might have been Next Big Thing or Big Wow Fest. So I don't remember which one, but I was with one of my friends, and then this guy, he like flew down from like Maine or something, and and then like, so we kind of made friends with him because he was there for like 8 hours, and so you had no other choice at
yeah.
that point. But so like we made friends with him. And so it worked out, and he was fine and cool, and he wasn't creepy, but yeah.
Yeah. No,
Probably
that's
wouldn't do a
cool.
festival by myself. That just seems like too much of a financial, commitment to not do with anyone else. Because yeah, I'll do a concert. It was fine. Talking to yourself the entire time.
No, I totally agree. Yeah. So obviously the preference is to always go with somebody, right?
Yeah.
But I do the same thing you do where, well, first I either call you and that usually works out. Or if you're busy for some reason, I will buy 2 tickets and then just try to figure it out
One
later.
second.
But I have had times where like, it'll be like the day before or day of where I'm begging people like,
Oh yeah.
please just take this ticket. I just like, I don't want any money. I just need somebody to stand there with me so I have somebody to talk to, right? And there have been times where I've thought like, should I do this or should I just go by myself? You know what I mean? Like if it's that much work to try to find somebody to go with me. The closest I've ever been was I went to, I can't even remember who the headliner was now, but I went to a concert at House of Blues and I had people I was meeting there, but they are those people who like, they didn't really care about the openers and didn't make an effort to be there early, but I wanted to see them. Cause I think Judah and the Lion was opening and I was like, well, I'm not missing this, but they didn't care. And I was like, you know what? Part of me was like, oh, I should just wait till they get there and go in with them. And I was like, no, that's stupid. I'm not missing Judah and the Lion because they don't want to go early. So that's the closest I've ever been. So I was at that concert for probably like an hour, hour and a half by myself until they showed up. And it was okay. You know, like.
I think the closest, I mean, I went to actually, it was second time I saw May. They were doing an album anniversary tour and I went with a couple of friends. I mean, I met them there. I got there a little before they did. And they played the whole album, and that's all my friends knew. I'm like, okay, we're done. I'm like, there's gonna be an encore. Like, oh, we don't know any more of their songs. I'm like, who cares? But then they left. I mean, so they missed like the last like 3-4 songs. I'm like, but no, I've definitely done the begging. Like, hey, like I had some like bail and like literally an hour or two before the concert. Like, hey, what are you doing right now? Do you want to go to a concert? I have an extra ticket.
Yeah.
Like it was like I went to go see Magic Giant one time, and like one, like I literally had someone like bail because they were sick or something like that, and some like literally calling people and like literally was like an hour before. I'm like, hey, what are you doing? Can you get here in an hour? I have a ticket. What else are you gonna do?
And was that you've seen them multiple times, but was that the time? I think you called me, but I had another concert the same night. Was that the same one?
Probably.
I forget who I saw. Oh, it was Bronze Radio Return. Because I remember you were down the street, right? Wasn't it? It was at the Social.
Yep.
And I was at what was that really small bar we saw Max Frost in? What's that place called?
I don't even remember. That was the first time I've ever been in there. But
that concert was so weird. Like he did such a good job, but that one, like that was one of the ones where like there were so few people there that he just called people out. Like he pointed at somebody and he's like, hey, what do you want to hear? Like he just talked to the people because there were so few people.
Hey, that's why you like small venue, because that way they can do that and you can be like, hey, I want to hear this, and they'll listen. Like, okay, sure, why not?
I remember we showed up and like the only people there were the two of us, and there were like 3 people sitting at the bar, and like nobody had even moved over to the stage yet. Luckily, a couple people showed up later, but that was such a good concert.
That's always a trade-off, is if it's a very, very obscure or unknown. And I mean, it's just like, I hope more people show up, because otherwise it's gonna be really weird if I'm also the only one here.
Well, and you feel for the band too, like being at a small venue like that, and they don't even fill that room, which I'm sure that's not uncommon for them, but still you'd like for them to be able to do well.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's what you're trying to do, and you're trying to make it big. I mean, it's just such a rejection, depressing. I'm like, hey, should I really be doing this? Like, no, you should. Your music's great. People just don't know it.
Right, exactly. So which band or artist have you seen the most? Is it 21 Pilots?
21 Pilots, yeah. I mean, I've seen 21 Pilots now, like, I want to say 9 times. I mean, I saw them at a couple festivals. I've seen them live. I saw them they did an acoustic show I got invited to. So, I mean, I've seen them in a lot of different settings too. So, I mean, like, yeah, small acoustic with like 30 people, to a festival, to a smallish venue, or I guess medium-sized venue, to like a full, stage arena. They've definitely been the most. So I think Andrew McMahon and his various forms of bands would be second. I mean, I've seen him at Andrew McMahon Wilderness a few times. I saw Jack's Mannequin a few times. I never saw him at something corporate, but yeah. And he'd be second, probably like 5 I think I've seen him like 6 times at least now.
Okay.
6 or 7.
I lost track of a lot of mine because I do a lot of repeats now, like of my favorite bands. Yeah. And like the ones, my favorites are like that middle sweet spot where they're playing like decent venues, but they're not playing arenas or anything like that. So it's easy for them to tour a lot if they're doing House of Blues and the Beecham and stuff like that. But I saw Parachute last year, and they were at the Social actually, and they had something where you could do like it was like a VIP backstage hangout with the band, and it was like $75, and it included your ticket. So I was like, yeah, I'm doing that. That's awesome. So I did that, which was so we got to go early, hear like an acoustic set. They hung out with everyone who was there, so we got to meet them a little bit there. They signed a bunch of merch for us. And then after the concert, we got to go backstage with them. And there were only 5 of us who, I guess, I don't know if they had more tickets than that or if it was capped at 5 and I just happened to buy it at the right time. But we hung out backstage with them and they were like asking us what we thought about the show, what our favorite songs were, all that kind of stuff. And then they went around the circle and they were like, okay, we have to ask, how many times have you guys seen us? So they went around the room and this one guy was like, oh, I've seen you 4 times. I saw you in Minneapolis, and he's just like naming off the cities. One girl said, I think 3 times. And then there was this older woman there. She was like, oh, I've seen you 5 or 6 times. Right. And then I went with Stephanie Wolf, actually.
Yeah.
And, I think she's seen them quite a bit, like 6 or 7 times. And then I was last, and they're like, oh, how about you? How many times have you seen us? And I was like, this is 23 for me. And they were like, you're lying. And I'm like, no, I think it's 22 or 23. And they were like, well, we're sorry. And I was like, why are you apologizing? They're like, well, we should probably know who you are if you've seen us 23 times. And I was like, I promise. I did preface. I was like, I'm not a creep. Like, I promise. I don't follow you guys around. I told him, I was like, I've only seen you in Florida or Ohio. I've never traveled to see you. I didn't quit my job and follow you on tour.
I mean,
play
never.
a lot of venues.
By prefacing that I'm not a creep, it's not really good, for your status there.
Okay, but what do you think if somebody said they saw the same band 23 times?
I mean, I know you, so I know you're creepy.
Right. But that sounds like, if people didn't know me, that sounds like creep level.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I've seen Andy Grammer 25 times, so that wasn't even my most. And like, what's
That's
crazy
a bad
too?
thing. I wish we could just hold up your concert, expenses over the years and just see how many cars you could probably buy.
I would love to never do that. In my defense, most of the concerts I go to are like $30 or less.
Oh,
now,
yeah.
granted, that's a lot of money, even though, because like,
How
how many do you think you go to in a year, roughly?
in a year? I mean, not as much anymore.
Well, yeah, before 2020.
Before this, I mean, like basically once I got married, I mean, and all that, like pre that, I was going to probably like 6 or 7 a year, at least, roughly.
Okay. Is it more or less now that you're married?
Less.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm not in control of the budget always, so.
No, I got you. I probably go to 15, 20
Yeah.
a year, especially in the fall. Almost every like September through November is stacked.
Yeah. I mean, I think now I'm probably going to about 3 or 4
a year,
roughly. I mean,
yep.
Depends on the year, depends on who's coming, but
I need to find somebody to pay me to do this. Like, I would love to be a recruiter who just had to go to concerts every night and test out and stuff. I don't want to know how much I spend on it either, but okay. So best concert you've ever been to?
So I'll have to go with 3 actually. My 3 best concerts, no particular order. Probably the first time I saw 21 Pilots at House of Blues, just because, I mean, I'd never seen their act, and just the sheer amount of energy. I mean, seeing everything they do and how much they put into it. And I mean, like the covers that they did even, I mean, and just how they interacted with the crowd, the flip off the, piano. It just, everything was amazing. I mean, seeing them perform Trees at the end of their concert, even back then, because it had to be, 2014, 2015, 2014, I think. Okay. Seeing them perform Trees at the end where they drum on the crowd, and nothing beats that. So them, seeing Jackson Mannequin back in the day, that was during college. I mean, that was the first time I saw Andrew McMahon in any form.
Mm-hmm.
That was at, I believe, the Wharton Center in East Lansing. And just, like, I mean, his sheer amount of energy and how much he put in, like, he would run into the crowd and like
Yeah.
literally get to like and then like shake hands with people like during a song. It was crazy. And then Explosions in the Sky. I've seen them twice, but I mean like the first time, I mean their music. I mean, it's instrumental, so you can't really sing along. I mean, you could just
Right.
be weird, but like just their music is just amazing live, and like nothing will beat that.
Are you a big instrumental fan in general?
I do. I mean, I do like some. I mean, I do like. I mean, I love like listening to instrumental covers as well. But I'll listen to a few like instrumental band like so Explosion in the Sky, Got a Nat is an Astronaut, and like some stuff like that. But
Okay.
not as much. But definitely
Yeah.
Explosion in the Sky is one of my favorite bands of all time. I mean, their song "Your Hand in Mine," like the first time I heard that. I mean, weird thing about that concert was I just found out who they were like a week before because some friends of mine in college asked me if I wanted to go. So I'm like, yeah, sure, why not? It's a concert. I just enjoy them. And so
Yeah.
I listened that whole week up to it, and then nothing prepared me for how amazing it was. Which I mean, probably didn't hurt that I just broke my hand, so I was on a lot of Vicodin, so I was really like in a spaced out mood. But yeah, it was. I mean, it was amazing. I mean, the second time I saw them up in Atlanta was amazing. I mean, just being there and watching everything and just enjoying it. Like
That's really cool.
I mean, whenever they tour, I try to go because it just is a amazing show.
Yeah. You've talked about them a lot before. I
Yep.
really want to see them because I will be honest, I don't listen to instrumental music at all.
Hmm.
Like maybe soundtracks and stuff if I'm working and I don't want any distractions, but
Well, they do
I don't
soundtracks.
know.
There you go. They've made I mean, they've done soundtracks to like Friday Night Lights, both the show
Yeah.
and the movie. They've done Lone Survivor and like a couple other movies. But I mean, I didn't even know they were in any of those, and like when I saw them in concert. But yeah, I mean, I wish they would tour more. I know, like, oh yeah, so whenever they do, like, I'll let you know. But yeah, it's
Okay.
amazing.
I think I would appreciate it. I am a little worried I wouldn't like it as much as more typical concerts, but I definitely would like to experience that.
Yeah, just listen to "Your Hand in Mine" by Explosion in the Sky, and that right there will be the best reason I can give you why you should see him live. That
Cool.
song.
I actually, weirdly enough, you know the song "Human" by Judah and the Lion? Do you know that one by
Yeah,
any chance? So that whole thing essentially is instrumental. I mean, they like chant a little bit in the background, but
yeah.
that's on all of my playlists now. It's just like, I don't know. It's like I get emotional listening to it and there's no words.
Oh
So
yeah,
if it's anything like that, I think I could get on board for sure.
yeah. No, I mean,
But
like, I mean, because the best thing, I mean, like listening to your music, I mean, it would be back in college. I could study to. It's just like music that were you could think and like deal with
yeah,
all your thoughts to.
yeah.
Another good instrumental song. I mean, just a song. I mean, it was is the intro song by the XX,
Okay.
which
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure I know it's been some movies and whatnot, but I mean, I would hear it actually as an uh I got the album and I heard it, but then I would also hear like it was the song, the introduction song for local hockey team back in the day. But I mean, just like that song right there is, yeah, just do intro by the XX.
Okay. No, I'm writing it down.
Yep.
I do like them a lot, but I don't know. I don't know a ton of their stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know a ton of theirs. I know I do like a lot of their music, but like I mean, even like some of oh, what's the band? Hold on. M83. They have like it's almost like instrumental ish. I mean,
Okay.
but or like very few lyrics, but yeah,
Yeah.
M83 has some really good stuff as
Okay.
well.
So obviously, concerts aren't happening right now, so you don't have anything booked. But who's the next band on your list that you're thinking like the minute they tour, you're gonna go?
Bands I really want to see are Passion Pit. I've really wanted to see them.
Yep.
Um, for new bands, I mean, I've seen a lot of others, and I'll still probably see some of them again. Let's see, who have I been into lately here? Mhm.
Like mine's Lawrence. I am
Okay, yeah,
completely obsessed with them. And I'm still mad that they did not open for John Bellion when we saw him.
Yeah, no, I mean, I saw, I mean, one, obviously we want to see AGR as a actually headliner. I mean, I've seen them as part of a festival, which, I mean, it's
Right.
different. So I mean, it's some of the stuff like that where I've seen a band where they've only been like supporting act or something like that, where I wanted the full
Yep.
experience. So there's definitely some of those. But I mean, the big one would just be Passion Pit. I think is the biggest one I haven't seen.
Okay.
I do want to see Coolio, and I'm just
Yep.
going on my list. I would
Did
actually
we
really
ever?
see Mike Snow and Barnes Courtney. And also I want to see Matt Mason.
Oh yeah.
Matt Mason is definitely high on my list. Just I mean, his whole album I've really like it, fallen in love with. I mean, it's just spectacular.
Yeah. I of all the cancellations, I'm probably most upset about AJR because I like obviously I want to see them again, but I wanted to be there when you saw them headline. It's just like the most incredible thing I've ever seen.
Oh yeah.
I mean, because I saw the first time I saw them, they played at the Social, so I've seen them at
Oh
small
wow.
venues, and it was a great concert. I met them afterwards, but like when they got money for production value, it just was nuts. It was one of the craziest things I've ever seen. Like I saw them 3 times on their Neo Theater tour
Wow.
because I
I mean,
like some.
I saw them at part of Next Big Thing. The first time they came, and that was, I mean, they only did like a 30-40 minute set. So I mean, it wasn't
Yeah,
like a full set, but even that was like, this is amazing. I mean, and everyone around was like, we need to see him in, in a actual full concert now.
yeah.
But it hasn't worked out well so far due to
Well,
unforeseen circumstances. Like,
right. Theirs is one where even though if they played House of Blues tomorrow, I'd be first in line. They are one where like their production is so over the top and so crazy that I almost hope they continue to play large venues, which I don't say that very often, but what they're able to do with a big stage and a big crowd is really, really cool. Because they even said like they went into it as like half concert, half theater performance. And then they said this new tour that we don't get to go to was supposed to be like a circus. And I don't know what that means, but I was excited about it because just the stuff that they did on the Neo Theater tour was crazy. I mean, everything was coordinated. They even did like almost like dance numbers to
wow.
some of the songs. And then the lighting and the special effects, it was crazy. And then on top of that, they're just disgustingly talented guys. So
Yeah.
they're definitely that's probably one of my favorite concerts I've ever seen. But so obviously this hits close to home for us because we were supposed to host a house show.
Yep.
But if you could pick any band and have them play at your house for friends and family, who would you want it to be?
I mean, that'd be hard. I mean, like, I'll probably say Andrew McMahon, just
Okay.
because, I mean, just his personality too, like, would be so much fun to just talk to and whatnot, and like, just is how he's so personable with everyone.
Yep.
Like, I think it'd be highly entertaining. You only need like a piano then. I mean, not have to get a piano, but we can buy one and then
Yeah.
teach her daughter to play piano when she grows up. Whatever.
I think you
I'll put
might
that in
bring
the budget. But I think Angel Man would probably be the best, just because, yeah.
yeah. I think I've told you this story before, but we got Jack's Mannequin to play when I was in college. So I was in the group that helped organize the concert
Yeah.
each year. And so obviously we got to hang out with him in the band a little bit. But after the show was done and we were talking to him and he's like, okay, what are we doing next? Like, what do you guys want to do? And you're like, what are you talking about? And he goes, well, let's hang out. I'm not ready to go to bed. So like we didn't have anything planned, assuming that he would just leave after the concert. So we all went over somebody's house and they invited a bunch of people over and like he literally just walked in, like took his shoes off and then like hung out with everyone. I played Cards Against Humanity with him. That was awesome.
Oh,
And like he wasn't like there was nothing high maintenance about it. He was
yeah.
like, yeah, I'm here to hang out. Whatever you guys want to do. It was awesome. It was really, really cool.
Yep. I mean, we did the when we got married, we did the whole, hey, we'll send him a message on like Instagram, see if he responds, which I
Right.
mean he didn't, but I mean, long shot in it, but she's jealous.
I know this does not impress you nearly as much, but Andrew Rip, the guy I hosted
Yeah.
my house in December, he is like that. It's still hard for me to talk about, and it's been like 7, 8 months. It was one of the coolest experiences of my entire
Yeah.
life, and like he's not like selling out arenas or anything like that, so he's not at that level. But for me and my brother, he is top 5 for sure. Like he is one of my favorite artists of all time, and like I still remember. So he played at our house on a Friday. I took the day off, and he showed up at like 4:30, 5 o'clock. My brother lives downtown, so he finished work and then drove over after he was done working. And so by the time my brother got there, he was tuning the guitar, we were setting up the keyboard and getting everything, doing like a mic check and stuff. And I was still in shock, but it started wearing off a little bit by that point because he'd been there for like an hour and a half. My brother walked in and literally, like he walked in, he was holding his bags, just dropped him on the floor and stared at him with his mouth open. And I looked at him and was like, yeah, he's in our living room, man.
Play cool. Play cool.
I know. Oh my goodness. When he walked up, because he told me he would show up at like 4:30. From like 4 o'clock on, I just paced in the house. I was so nervous. And then when he showed up, I met him outside, and luckily this didn't freak him out, but I literally just kind of ran up to him and gave him a hug. I probably should have like read the room a little bit, but no, definitely not. But he was the coolest guy ever. And like as soon as he saw my brother, he was like, hey man, are you Brian? And he like got up and gave my brother a hug. And my brother was like, his arms were out and he was like freaking out. It was so cool. It was awesome. So I cannot wait until the next time I can see him again, because he was just the coolest guy on the planet. And like,
Yeah.
it was cool too, because me and my brother and a couple of my friends were huge fans of him and have seen him before. My parents had been listening to him for months, knowing that he was coming. But then most of the people we invited were just friends and family who thought it was cool that we were hosting a concert. And by the end of it, they were like blown away. And it was cool that we were able to do that and help. I mean, we only had 35, 40 people there, but it was cool to like give him that recognition and hopefully spread his music a little more broadly, because he definitely deserves it. I mean, I don't know, like he's one of those bands where you see him play in a smaller venue and you're like, why are you not bigger than you are? Like, why is this place not packed? It's good for me because I get to see him in smaller venues and get to do stuff like house concerts, but at the same time,
You still want to see him make it big, but no, I
yeah,
get it.
exactly. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, that was awesome. I still have hopes that we're going to do a house show at some point. I don't know when it's going to happen.
Eventually.
But I'm still hoping we'll pull it off somehow. I don't know.
Eventually.
To add to that, I also think Magic Giant would be an incredible house show.
I would agree. I mean, they're phenomenal live. I mean, I said a few times. I mean, my only concern would be like how active they are. I think they'd probably run
Yes.
into something and break something mind. But
Yeah.
it'd be worth it, but you know.
Well, and they seem like the nicest guys in the planet. But I'm with you. Like, I think that would be a backyard concert and not a living room concert. Yeah.
Yeah.
I totally agree.
I mean, need a bigger backyard than mine.
Yeah, those guys' energy level.
Oh yeah.
Through the roof. Do you have a dream concert? Like, is it either like a certain set list by a band or like a certain combo of artists? Because I've thought about this a lot. Like, if I could hand pick who played at a concert.
I mean, I almost wish I could like hand pick like a certain band for one certain song and just hear it live and then move on to the next.
Okay. Yeah.
Like, that's I would be. I mean, obviously, one too much for me to ever afford, but or pull off logistically speaking. But I mean, like hearing one song. Like I mean, like it's like I have a favorite song by this band that I always wanted to see. I mean, like I like some of their music, but it's not like enough where I'm like, man, I need to go.
Yeah.
do them all, but I mean, like, yeah, like if I could just pick like a single song or two songs here and there and just put them all together,
Yep.
basically just what are my basically top hits on my Spotify.
So it'd be like a live Spotify playlist.
Basically, I mean,
Yeah.
like I mean, I'd love to see Band of Horses perform the funeral,
Okay.
like and just like hear that song specifically, and just like do some other like of my like top favorite songs of all time and just stuff like
Yep.
that.
No, yeah, I'm right there with you. I feel like if I could pick a set list, I know this sounds weird, but like if Maroon 5 ever does a tour where they do songs about Jane, I would pay so much money to see that. And just do start to finish the whole album. I would lose my mind. I think that'd be awesome. And then there's certain artists that I would want to put together.
Yeah.
I've seen some really, really phenomenal concerts where like like they have two or three openers. I'm obsessed with every opener and the headliner. And those are
Mhm.
just like where your energy level is through the roof. It's really cool to see those. And then it's even better when they bring the openers on and you realize they're all friends and play together and
Oh
stuff.
yeah. One of the actually best like performance I saw live was or it was a band called Magic Man, and then the Griswolds. They performed together like at the end of their concert, and they performed Ignition, and then they had their guy who was handling the merch come out and like rap for it, which was I mean it's just amazing end to the show, and
It's
just
so
everyone was out
cool.
there having a great time and just whatnot. But I mean, it's like when you have like those like special like moments. I mean, I always want to be a concert where like they bring like a special guest out who like just a friend of
Yeah.
theirs who's in town, which even like going to some of the bands who are like from the area. I'm like, why aren't you doing that here? And yet you do it up in like New York. I'm like, I'm not in New York.
Right.
So,
So you've never seen a band do that before?
I mean, I've seen them like bring out the opening acts and do like stuff like that, but not
Yeah,
like
yeah,
a
yeah.
not like a random
Not like
special
a
guest who
surprise.
wasn't part of the show
Yeah.
initially. Like,
I
hey,
will
so and so
say,
just happened to be in town, and we're bringing them out, or this
yeah,
like one random song that we have that everyone loves, but we don't ever do because like a duet.
right?
Yeah, see, I mean, like I've seen the Day to Remember because I mean they're from Ocala. I saw them over at UCF, and I was hoping that hey maybe they would do they have a song if it means a lot to you, which I mean they still performed, but um in on their actual album they have I forget the girl's name who sings it, but I mean it's amazing. I mean I watched the video on YouTube, but I'm like come on, just bring out someone who sing that part, but they
Yeah,
didn't. Because I mean it's still a fantastic concert, but
yeah.
it's always
I
that hope for like something like that.
Yep. When I saw Macklemore, he had the guy who sings lead on Downtown. I forget what
Mhm.
band he's from. I can't remember the guy's name right now, but he
Yeah.
had him show up and didn't have it for any of his other shows on the tour, which was incredible. That was super, super cool. I will say though, so that's what he did for Orlando. 2 days before that, when he was in Miami, he had Ed Sheeran come out because they have a duet together. And I'm like, oh my goodness, you had Ed Sheeran show up.
I mean, I will say this. I was at one of the festivals and whatnot, and Paramore was playing, and she pulled a random guy out of the crowd who was singing along to "Misery Business," which I mean, when you're pulling a
Yeah,
someone random, like it's hit or miss.
it's a
And
risk.
I mean, to give the guy's credit, he hit it. Like he just sang the chorus, and she
Yeah,
like let him do it like a solo, which we're all like, this could go so poorly.
yeah,
But the guy hit him, and I mean, it was awesome because like I mean, pulling someone random, like he was up there living life.
that's so
But
cool. Yeah, that was
yeah,
probably the best moment of his life.
oh yeah.
That's awesome.
I will say, one of my the guy I used to work with, and like I mean, he showed me this video. It was like back in like I think he was like in high school or something like that. He went to a Lincoln Park show and he like won some contest or whatnot with like a couple other people, but he got to play guitar to Faint, I think it was, on stage with
What?
them. Like he actually played
Oh my
for
goodness.
like with Lincoln Park. He handled like the opening guitar, and like yeah, he like played it in front of like a ton of people.
That's so cool.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly wouldn't believe him if I didn't see the video.
Jeez. I've never had that happen before. Like I've been pulled on stage or anything. I don't like. It would be awesome, but I'd be super nervous.
Oh yeah, I mean
For
I
sure.
can't play an instrument, so I'd butcher that, and I'd probably
Yeah.
my voice would go who knows where, and it probably wouldn't be great. But
Right. No, I agree. Um,
yep.
Andy Grammer did something on his last tour actually where every show he would have somebody come up and they would tell a story about their life and then on the spot. So it would be him, it would be Andy, and then he brought out one of his openers was a spoken word poet rapper.
Mm-hmm.
So he would have him come out. He would do the verses and Andy would write the chorus. But they would literally write it on the spot while this person was sitting on the stage. And they would get the crowd to sing with them and stuff. It was awesome. It was really, really cool.
I mean, that kind of reminds me of what, I mean, I haven't been to his concert, but I mean, I've seen some of the videos, like where Ben Folds, he would do like a chat roulette,
Yes.
wherein like
Yep.
he would pull up random people and then write them a song, like a little bit.
Yep.
I mean, which I mean, like that, I mean, that the sheer talent to be able to do that, but it's like, wow.
Yeah. He was one of the other concerts we got to play at our school. And he did that at our school. But it was awesome. Really, really cool. This is a lofty question, but in general, what is it about concerts that you enjoy so much?
I mean, like, I mean, one is, I mean, just being like, it's just, I mean, just the overall experience. I mean, when you're just surrounded by that music, I mean, and just all the thoughts that come from it. I mean, like the lyrics, I mean, unless it's instrumental, but, and like just every like, memory you have of that music and just being completely like forgetting everything else going on. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, forgetting about work, forgetting about whatever, and just being like surrounded by it and just have it like basically consume you and just and that's all you're thinking about is just that music and enjoying it. And yeah, like
Yeah.
I mean, like for me, I mean, music was always my like basic escape. I mean, like when I'd go anywhere, if I like ever had to think about something, if I had to study, I mean, I could tune out the rest of the world and just listen to that music. And I mean, that's what concerts
Yep.
do. Is that you forget about everything else and you can all you're focusing on is that music and just you like I mean that it gives you energy and everything.
Yep. Yeah, I totally agree. There have been times where I've had concerts come up and I'm super stressed at work and really busy with a bunch of other stuff. And I've second guessed it. Like, oh, I don't know. I'm exhausted. I might not go to this. But
Mm-hmm.
after the first song, like you said, it just like pumps you full of so much energy.
Oh yeah.
Like I've never regretted going, you know?
I mean, you literally forget about everything else. And yeah, I mean, I don't regret it. I mean, I've really
Yeah.
hadn't had like any bad concerts I've picked out. I mean, in all the concerts I picked, I mean, I've really not been disappointed at all. So a couple of the opening bands are a little bit sometimes are hit or miss, but I mean, for the
Yep.
actual the one there to see, and yeah, I mean, like
Yeah.
you forget about the stresses of everything from work, from life, and everything. You're just there and not think about a thing.
My favorite part too is when you have those songs that just like connect with you another level and they play that. It's like you tune yourself out in general, like you tune out the rest of the world, but when that song comes on, it's like you black out to the rest of everything. You know what I
Oh yeah.
mean?
Man,
Um,
I mean, I definitely agree. I mean, there's like just those like key songs, which I mean, like for me, I mean, it was like "Your Hand in Mine" by Explosion to the Sky. I mean, not that I
yep.
connect with the lyrics because it's instrumental, but I mean, like just like the thoughts of that song and like how it's impacted my life. I mean, from just being able to like, deal with everything, like growing up, listening to that, and just
Yep.
putting stuff in perspective. I mean, it helps you just think through your stuff. Or other songs are, I mean, honestly, "Trees" by 21 Pilots is, I mean, just like the lyrics are, if you actually listen to it, are amazing. But there's
Yeah.
definitely like songs like that where, I mean, this is what I need to hear, or this is what I want, this is all I want to hear. And like,
Yeah.
I'm that right now, and I'm like, no.
No, I totally agree. I also like when I don't like concerts when they sound exactly like the album. Like that's great.
Yeah.
It's cool that they're talented and you know that what you hear on the album is true, but I want variations of the songs. Like if they pull one of them and do it acoustic, or if they mash two of them together, or just like, you know what I mean? Just some
Yeah.
subtle changes so it feels a little more unique and you can remember that moment.
Yep.
So I've had
I
other
mean,
songs.
what we saw with John Bellion, I mean, like his songs, I mean, like I loved how he did different versions of them. And honestly, like, I mean, his version of "Conversations with My Wife,"
That
that I mean,
literally
I mean, I love it on his album, but that live version like blew my mind. So
Yeah, you literally like just now. I knew what song you were gonna say, and it still gave me chills just
oh yeah,
thinking about it.
I mean,
It
I
was
understand. I still public like the video just because like he posted a live video of it.
yeah,
And I will play that like every week.
it is one of the coolest things I've ever seen. Yeah, I'm right there with you. And sometimes it's songs that like I had listened to conversations with my wife a lot before that, but it wasn't in my top 3 or anything like that. It
Mhm.
was just like, yeah, this is a good song. I really enjoy this. After that, it became an obsession for me. Like
Yeah.
I even though I don't have access to that version except on YouTube,
Yep. So
it's
then YouTube.
yeah,
Thank goodness
it's
for having technology now where we can actually listen to that because back in the day,
you never be able to hear it.
you go on the LimeWire and hope you can find a version of the song in general.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, even when bands do like they'll do new songs
Mhm.
and like you try to pay attention as much as you can, but if it's a band you really like, you're like, oh, I need to like digest those words and figure out what they're talking about. So it's
Yeah.
cool that you can go on YouTube and 97% of the time somebody recorded it and you can.
Yeah. I think that's all the concerts are. I mean, like you just get engulfed in the experience of everything and like surrounded by the music where you can focus on that. I mean, quoting Eminem, I mean, you lose yourself in the music the moment, you know.
Yep. Okay, so I got two last questions for you.
Okay.
So really quickly, if somebody was looking for, obviously we can't go to concerts right now,
hmm
but if somebody was looking for a show recommendation, regardless of music taste, but you're like, hey, everyone should see this band at least once, who would be that recommendation?
I would have to say I'm trying to think of something good. Let's see, especially some I haven't named yet before. I mean, I probably had to go with Andrew Man. I know some of his music is a little bit more like you need to be kind of like into that,
Mm-hmm.
but I mean, just from for performance standpoint, he's really good. It's always nice though when you like see a band in general and they do like a cover, especially if it's like a crazy obscure cover that you wouldn't think that they would do.
Yeah,
I mean, I do love a good cover song
I'm
or
right there
go
with
see Explosions in the Sky just because I mean I love them. But
you. Yeah. Cool. Since we can't go to concerts right now, what would be a live album that you would recommend so people can at least pretend that
oh.
they're at a show? Even if it's like one specific song.
I mean, one of my favorite live songs, which I've never seen in concert, is I mean, it's funny and you kind of need to be in the mood for this style of music. It's the many versions of Suburban Rhythm by Real Big Fish.
Okay.
Basically, they take their song and like in their live album, they basically start doing different versions of the song within it. I mean, they do like a blues version, they do a old school rap version, they do an emo version, they do like a hardcore rock version. And it's all the same song. I mean, it's only like like a couple lines, but
Yeah,
they keep they keep doing it in different versions. And it's so funny to listen to and just yeah. But
that's
like
awesome.
I mean, because they're a ska band, so you kind of need to be in the mood for it. But I mean, it's so funny.
Okay. No, that's awesome. Yeah, I'm kind of picky about live albums, especially since a lot of them have conversations. You hear them talking and stuff, and that's great if you want to remember that show or that tour. But sometimes, like, it gets annoying when you're trying to listen to stuff in the background while you're working, and there's like a
Yeah,
2 minute song about them talking with the crowd. You know?
I mean,
Um,
I've been doing a lot of actually like full concerts I've found on YouTube.
okay.
Just had to play. I mean, so like I mean, I've done like Bon Iver, I've done of Monsters and Men and like stuff like that. I did
Yep.
Mumford and Sons, just basically where I find a full album where it's also professionally recorded, so it doesn't sound terrible, and
Yep.
that some of the terrible sound quality of their cell phone or whatever.
Yep.
Yeah, so I mean, I've looked for those, and that will have like those play, and then they so
Okay. I uh I think I'm trying to think. Need to Breathe has incredible live music, like really, really cool stuff. And they do a lot of different versions. Like they did a tour once where they split it into 3 parts, I think. And they did like their normal rock show. They did a chunk of dates that was like, I think they called them like the lightning shows. And they were like really intense, like almost arena shows where it was like a big production. And then the last clump of shows was straight acoustic, the entire show. So it was cool that they had the variety in there. Yeah. But then when they record them, obviously you get all the different versions of it. So that was really cool. That's all I got.
One other
No,
song that I think actually is better live is classic rock is Landslide by Fleetwood Mac. Like the regular album version is good, but the live version is just so much better.
Okay.
Actually, finally, also thought of another band I really wanted to see that I haven't seen yet, or back for a way, question a long time ago.
Fleetwood Mac.
I mean, it's would be Rise Against.
Oh, okay.
Especially when they released their Ghost Note Symphony album, which is like a kind of like a slower version of all their songs.
Okay.
They only had like 4 tour dates of that for that album, which I mean would have been amazing.
Yeah, that sounds really cool.
Topic. I just finally remember that. Lightning.
No, you're good. You're good. I was trying to remember too. I made a playlist a couple months back, and every single song on there was a live recording. Mm-hmm. So I was trying to think if there was like a really. Oh yes, that's one I was trying to think of. Have you listened to Vance Joy's live album? His most recent one. It's incredible. It is so good. It's hands down one of the best ones I've ever listened to. It's his live at Red Rocks. Mm-hmm. So cool. I actually think most of the songs I like better on there than I do the original recordings, just because it's got so much personality. But yeah. Okay, man. That's all I got for you.
Sounds good. Always a pleasure.
Thanks for listening. If you liked what you heard, follow Goodbye Apathy on Instagram to stay connected and up to date on the latest episodes. If this conversation inspired you and you have your own passion to share, head over to goodbyeapathypodcast.com and send us a quick note. You could be featured on a future episode.